quite an important video, I think, this morning, and it's about the BBC and Trump, yeah, that this kind of spat. And yes, it's a psychological operation, and I'm going to explain why that is. And I also think it is an incredibly important manoeuvre that's attempting to be pulled here. So, you know, for those that don't know, what the BBC did was that they did what they normally did, and they created fake news. They split and spliced tape of Trump speaking to make out that he said something that he really didn't say. Now, the thing is that this is not the first time that the BBC has been caught fabricating lies or being complicit in the fabrication of lies. So first one would be WMD. BBC obediently did whatever Tony Blair and Alistair Campbell asked them to say and report.
In Washington, there is a large fire at the Pentagon. The Pentagon has been evacuated. And there, as you can see, perhaps the second tower, the front tower, the top. No, I didn't see that. But many people do. It's simply too painful.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago, I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. It seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. As you can see behind me, the Trade Center appears to be still burning. We see the huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that behind that there's an empty piece of what was a very familiar New York skyline, a symbol of the financial prosperity of this city. But
total lies, and the BBC knew that at the time. But a more obscure example, and one that I alerted my former teaching colleagues to, indeed the head of the school, I even talked to her about it. And this was when there was the regime, the UK and America led the regime change operation in Libya, and the BBC tried to fabricate an illusion, you know, which was popular support for the regime change, and they showed Libyans celebrating the demise of Gaddafi in Tripoli. Now, the problem that the BBC had was that there was no popular support. No one was actually celebrating. But that wasn't the problem, because what they did was that they just took some pictures of Indians celebrating something, I don't know, Diwali or something like that. And the problem was the brains trust at the BBC failed to spot the fact that the Libyan flags being flown were in fact Indian flags. That's still up on the internet now. Just see if I can find that, show you a little clip.
And Express seems to focus on their public sector's big decay.
Let's just take the line to Tripoli. What shows some pictures there? This is people in Tripoli in the centre. I think it's Green Square, Green Market Square, call it.
Officially, that's it, still Green Square, but Green Games by then. But as you can see, a massive, huge storm of people now turning out. We spoke very briefly to Schwab this morning, who described the scene of jubilation.
The other one was that I can remember just off the top of my head, I'm sure there'll be others you can tell me about in the comments that I've missed, was the football supporter from Luton and the Pano drama and John Sweeney and all of that. They just they got caught trying to sting, create fabrications to sting somebody. Now the thing about that was interesting is, I don't know, it makes me then think about the football supporter from Luton, you know. Is he or isn't he? But anyway, that would be a digression. So what is significant about this latest kind of expose of the BBC telling outrageous lies? It can only be described as propaganda, can't it? It's a psychological operation. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think that, I don't know, Trump is on the side of freedom or anything daft like that. I think it's kind of a lot more sinister, and it's about, I suppose, Solzhenitsyn summed it up, you know, when he talked about how we must all try to live without lies. And what's going on here, you know, I think it was Ed Davey and Lisa Nandy, is it, a Labour MP? They were all going on, they've been on TV, House of Commons, talking about defending the BBC. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they told lies. It doesn't matter that they cropped a speech and and fabricated something that this bloke, Donald Trump, never said, and claimed that he did say it. It doesn't matter. So this is, I think, the psyop here is getting people to embrace lies. It's okay to lie. The truth, nah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he actually said something else but the BBC can slice and dice it, create something that he never, it doesn't matter. Because this kind of tribal loyalty, you know, left wing versus right wing, Orange Tango man is right wing, I'm left wing, so he's my enemy, so therefore it doesn't matter if the BBC misrepresent them, because the BBC is lying for the right reasons, and I must support my tribe even when they're lying. This is what's going on. This is exactly what is going on. They want people to embrace lies. It doesn't matter that the news is a lie. All that matters is that the news is the right lie. I follow the Guardian page on Bookface for shits and giggles, and you know, their line also kind of summed it up. It's like, well, he never said it, but that's what he really thinks, so it's okay that the BBC lied. It's okay that they did some creative editing to mislead people about what Trump said. Again, to the morons that think that this is me supporting Trump, I don't support Trump at all. What the point that I'm making here is that the BBC lied, they got caught out for lying, and now the next stage in the psyop is to convince you that that's okay. That's good journalism. Good journalism in 2025 is supporting journalistic outlets that lie. So long as the message is okay and it's politically correct and it's the right narrative, lying is perfectly fine. Lies are more important than the truth, and what they're trying to do is to get as many people to acquiesce behind that, to go along with it. Yeah, it's fine. I'm absolutely sweet with the BBC line. I'm absolutely sweet with them slicing and dicing videotape and manufacturing something that never happened, that was never said. I'm really happy about that. It's so long as it's being done for the right reasons. Yeah, they want as many people to articulate this as possible. And you know, I think this might have popped up on my book face, this Lisa Nandy in the House of Commons yesterday, basically defending the BBC. You know, it's defending the lying, basically, and the propaganda. It's a good thing. So I just find that he's just, I don't know, just really, really, really strange, really, really strange. But then again, you know, the thing is that if you go back to the People's Pantomime, that also was about people embracing lies, wasn't it, and repeating lies and living their life according to this lie. You know, the same with medical treatments, that GPs know the truth about it, but they just perpetuate the lie, don't they? Because they know how their bread's buttered, you know, which side their bread's buttered on, and it's on the side of the lie, isn't it? So that's what they go along with. They go along with the lie. And when that happens, when a critical mass of people embrace lying as just part and parcel of living their life, well, morality goes out of the window, doesn't it? We are where we are as a direct consequence of this societal change, that a critical mass of people now think it's perfectly okay to lie and or go along with things that are self-evidently lies, and to give organisations like the BBC that have been caught lying repeatedly a free pass. Yeah, it's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with the BBC creating fake news. I'm absolutely fine with the BBC producing propaganda, creating speeches that never happened. One last thing on Bookface. Yesterday I was watching, it was like a little video clip of the new head of the school that I used to work for. Now, I was never around when this person took over after I left, and she was giving it the big one about how the school stands for integrity, and how it's not all about earning as much money as possible, and it's about being a good human being, and it's about integrity and honesty, and treating other people with kindness, and all sounded really, really good. In fact, on Bookface, I actually kind of wrote that as a comment. She talks a good game. Now, obviously, from that comment, there was somebody else who'd also left the school at the same time as I did. I don't really know why, what happened. She gave me the old digital thumbs up, which I thought was funny. But obviously what I'm trying to get at here with that point is, you got to back that up, haven't you? You got to back that up with actions. You know, if you just say, anyone can just say stuff, and as we know, you know, we're living in a world of lies. So when people say stuff, well, it's neither here nor there, is it? What actually matters is whether you back up those words with actions. And you know, this certainly, certainly was the case with me during the People's Pantomime. I kind of acted on what I believed in. I wasn't prepared to go along with stuff so I didn't. You know, so my actions were compatible with my words. I suppose you could call, do you not call that integrity? That's what integrity really is. Integrity isn't just words separate that are entirely different from your actions. That's actually an oxymoron, isn't it? So anyway, that's all I want to say today about that. I just think this is like really, really freaky what's going on now. Not that the BBC's been caught lying. They've been doing that basically ever since they've been formed. What I find really interesting is the likes of The Guardian and leading politicians seeking to defend and justify the BBC's lies. Yes, they've been caught. They're not trying to say, oh no, you're mistaken, they were actually telling the truth. No, they're actually saying, well, yeah, they lied, and it's okay that they lied. Now that is the difference. And as I say one more time, in conclusion, the PSYOP is that they want as many people to accept that position as being valid. Doesn't matter that they lied. What matters is they made the lie for the right reasons. Trump's orange man, bad man, or whatever, so therefore it's okay for the BBC to lie about the orange man. It's okay to lie for the right reasons. Anyway, that's all I want to say today, so God bless.